Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Kirsten Morrison. I'm a human design and empowerment mentor, and I'm really excited to be here with you today to talk about the process of metamorphosis. And so, this is something that I solidified in my own season of very deep personal transformation and change. And so, undoubtedly, if you have landed here, you are either going through a cycle of evolution for yourself, or you will in the future, because if there is one thing that we can count on, it is change. And with change sometimes comes uncertainty. We have definitely been going through that on an individual level, but as a collective as well. And so when we're in those times of uncertainty, what can be really helpful is having some structure or stability to really hold on to be able to move through that. And so this is really this 3-step process that I came up with to support us in these exact times. And when I was going through this for myself, one of the things that I noticed was that our own process of evolution is very similar to how a caterpillar turns into a butterfly. So we start off as one form or one structure, and then a lot of what happens is we dissolve, we go into a void, we become a new structure, and we come out on the other side a completely different human being. And so when I was doing my research into this, I came across a quote that said, "How does one become a butterfly? You must want to fly so much that you are willing to give up being a caterpillar." And so if you want to fly through the seas of change rather than crawl through them, we really have to embrace our own process of metamorphosis. And so what I noticed is the first step within this is deliquesce. And this means to become liquid. We have to dissolve the resistance that we have to change in order to become more fluid in moving through it. So it's only when we are holding on and we're resistant and we're rigid that change is really difficult, because we're not actually allowing a new structure to take place. We're not allowing the transformation process to happen. And so one of the ways that we can support ourselves to become liquid and dissolve that resistance to change is stacking the evidence of the times that we have faced change, adversity, uncertainty in the past, and we've navigated that and come out the other side, sometimes with an even better outcome than we even imagined, and sometimes with maybe not what we wanted, but what we needed, and a lot of soul growth and a lot of lessons and wisdom that was so helpful to set us up for a new season. And I think sometimes in these seasons, we can really feel like it is a setback, not a set up. So when we start to build the evidence of all of the things that we have navigated in our life and what we've learned and how we've grown and how we've navigated them in the past, we really start to build this beautiful foundation of trust that we are going to make it through this too. And I want you to think about the fact that no matter what has happened in your life, you have figured it out. Every single thing in your life up until this moment, you have figured out, whether that be walking, painting, driving, paying taxes, flying, getting a job, all of the things that at one point we didn't know how to do, we do now. We don't even think about it. So whatever it is that you are facing and moving through, why would this be any different? And I think when we can start to really build that in, we can start to surrender and trust and liquefy ourselves to move like fluid water through these times of change. So starting to really consider, what was a time in the past when you were facing a similar situation or a period of change or a period of uncertainty, and you still managed to come out the other side? What did you learn about yourself in that process, and what can you lean on now as a result? Now, the second step is to transform. This step is where we change in composition or structure. So this is where the caterpillar starts to solidify into the butterfly. Now, one of the things I wanted to share with you is a lot of the times development happens in the dark. When we look at the caterpillar going into the chrysalis, it goes into the cocoon, it goes into the void. When we look at a seed planted in the earth, it goes into the moist, dark soil to become the plant. When we look at old film, it goes into the dark to become developed. So sometimes in this void, in this period of transformation, when we're building a new structure, it can feel uncertain. It can feel like we're in the dark. But in this season, we're actually planted. We're not buried. And so the setting and the context that we have for this actually really supports and holds us into the next season. So if it feels like things are a little bit murky and uncertainty in this particular phase, that is okay. We're actually building the context to hold more. And one of the ways in which I have really felt works so well in this portion to really develop and transform our inner structure, because that's really what we're doing. We're changing our structure, is connected to the nervous system and the body. Because to hold ourselves through times of change and to hold ourselves through growth and expansion, our nervous system has to be comfortable with a little bit of the contraction in order to step into that expansion. So in the periods of contraction, we need to be comfortable holding that sensation in the body and becoming familiar with it. We're actually expanding what the nervous system is capable of, because we actually have a band of resilience in our nervous system, and everything that we're currently capable of lives within this. So what we're doing when we're doing things like breath work, somatics, embodiment, we're actually building further expansion in that space so that we become comfortable with more sensation, because more success, more growth, more expansion all comes down to the ability to hold more sensation. And so that's really what we're focused on in this phase. And we're actually going to go through a mini embodiment practice at the end of this to really work on stabilizing that structure. But you can take the process we're going to go through in a micro and expand it out into a macro in your daily rituals as well. But that's what we're really doing in this phase, is stabilizing our inner world to hold the transformation to turn us into a new structure. Now, the third step is revival, and this means a restoration to spiritual vigor. This is where we lean on the strengths of our new wings. We learn to fly, and we learn that they can support us. And how we do this is anchoring in our faith, our unmovable faith, and taking courageous action. So I want to read you a quote that I actually found, which was on the Oprah Super Soul podcast with Bishop T.D. Jakes. And he had the studio audience walk around him in a circle. So he was standing in the middle, they were walking around him. And this is what he said. He said, "I'm trying to live my life, and these ladies represent everything that's going on in my life. And my life is always moving. Nothing is ever stable. The kids are here and then they're gone. Married, then I'm not. Good relationship, bad relationship. Got a job, lost a job. Entrepreneur pursuits, doing good, not doing good. I have to decide, am I going to go around with everything that's happening and be as unstable as my environment? Or can I get in the center of it all and say, even though it keeps on changing, though it keeps on turning, though it keeps on spinning, I'm not defined by what is happening around me. I am stable by what is happening in me." So let the kids, let life, let circumstance, let business, let finance, let everything change. Your goal is to be steadfast, unmovable, to be solid. And in order to do that, you cannot anchor into something that is moving. You've got to anchor into something that is solid and stable. So as this turns, I don't turn with it. And so for him, he shared that was his faith in God. And so whatever that is for you, finding that unmovable faith that you can anchor into that is not connected to the moving outer world. And so when we're anchored in this frequency of faith, we can then move into the second step, which is courage. And courage on the emotional scale is actually the tipping point of our personal power. And the best part of this is courage does not need perfection. Courage does not need certainty. Courage does not need clarity. Courage just needs a willingness to try. And so when we're anchored in our faith, we're stable in our foundation, and we have a fluid mindset to change, we can lean into that and take the next courageous step. So what we're going to do now is do a little mini embodiment practice. And what I would suggest actually is having a journal or a piece of paper nearby so that you can maybe take note of anything that comes through at the end there as well. So once you've got your notebook, I'm just going to get you to come into a seated position, somewhere where you're comfortable, where you've just got your feet planted on the earth, nice spine straight, relaxed, shoulders back, taking some nice deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth now. And on the exhale, just giving it a little wiggle, letting it all roll out. letting yourself feel really anchored into the surface beneath you. Feeling your feet planted firmly on the floor and just starting to bring your presence into the room. Starting to notice the sounds, the smells, the temperature. Really breathing all the way down into the belly and connecting into some of the deepest breaths maybe you've taken all year. And with each exhale, just feeling everything settle and soften into the space. And so the first thing that we're going to do here is we're going to start to dissolve the resistance in the body. And I just want you to bring your fingertips all over the body, just tapping anywhere you feel cold, all over. And really just starting to repeat the mantra to yourself as you tap everywhere. I dissolve resistance to change. I dissolve resistance to change. And bringing it all over the body. Anywhere you feel that resistance in the body. Anywhere you feel that tension, that tightness, that hesitation, the doubt, I just want you to tap all over the body. Beautiful. Continuing to breathe as well. Tapping that mantra in. I dissolve resistance to change. I dissolve resistance to change. And feeling the sensation pick up in the fingertips, feeling that all over the body. And just imagine that you're tapping any frozen energy in the body into cool, flowing water, letting it all liquefy. Beautiful. Now just letting that tapping slowly settle and bringing the hands to the knees. And I want you to bring a nice deep inhale all the way through the nose. And on the exhale, keeping the lips pursed and humming it out. And breathing in and bringing it straight back in and bringing it straight back in and keeping your rhythm with that. And as you continue to breathe and hum, just starting to feel that vibration going straight down the core of your body and feeling that inner structure stabilize as you feel the breath and that vibration running down the core of your body. Take hold. Beautiful. Continue to breathe, continue to hum on the exhale. And we're actually toning the nervous system to do this as well. Toning the vagus nerve that runs all the way from the base of the skull all the way down into the belly. With each inhale and each vibrational hum, we're just toning the nervous system and bringing more stability to the structure. Beautiful. Okay, and just letting that next breath soften, coming back into your normal breath. And on the next inhale, I just want you to stretch your arms out wide to the side like wings. And just holding them there for a moment and feeling the strength. Your wings outstretched wide. And then bringing your arms all the way back around you in for a giant squeeze, a nice big hug, and wrapping yourself up in faith and courage. And then on the next inhale, stretching all the way out to the side, feeling the strength in your wings, and then wrapping yourself up on the exhale in faith and courage. Just staying here for a few moments, really anchoring that in. The strength of your wings, holding yourself in faith and courage. Continuing to breathe deeply on the inhale and the exhale. Beautiful. And each time you take your wings out to the side, just stretching them back a little bit further, opening up the heart to receive the next steps and the courage to take them. And each time you wrap yourself up in that faith and courage, giving yourself a nice tight squeeze. I've got you. We've got this. And on the next inhale, just bringing the hands in to place them on the heart. Just taking some nice deep breaths into your heart space. Giving yourself a moment of thanks, of gratitude for all of the steps you've taken until this point, and all of the ones that you continue to take. In faith, in courage. Let a new sense of conviction come alive in the body, in the remembrance of just how capable you really are. Taking one last deep breath into that, and then gently just letting everything soften and return to normal, letting the arms slide down back into your lap. And in your own time, just opening your eyes and taking a look around the room, letting yourself adjust to this new reality. Beautiful. And so now would be a really great opportunity to just grab your journal and feel into what is your next courageous action step. What is that next step to take that is going to reinforce even more how capable you are to navigate this season of change, or any that are going to come? Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that there was some clarity in here as well. And I just appreciate you so much for being here. If you want to connect further, I'm over on Instagram, mainly at kirstinmorrison.co. Otherwise, you can check out my website, kirstinmorrison.co as well. And I look forward to connecting with you and hearing how you enjoyed this practice and this session.